people go there. Well, you know, they say once, twice. Is it? Please help me with that proverb.
Which of them?
Once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah,
I got it right. Yeah. Okay, so if we were once bitten, when I mean once bitten, we went there, nothing to show for. I think going there, I think we would sit up and then we'll bring something home. We'll be able to bring results home.
The funny thing, Nigerians, we're not expecting anything from them, because what they are actually going there for is to listen. We do not contribute to, you know, the degradation of the earth so much, right? We're talking about world blue chip companies that are resident in top big economies around the world. China, Japan, Germany, France, the UK, America. Now, these are people who contribute largely to erosion of our climate, right? Which affects us, right? Because of the so many issues that we have, you know, lots of things that it affects us. So we are the one receiving what these other people have created. So why should we be going with 423 people to do what? Is it to explain to them what they should do and what they should not do? And remember, these people are coming back home with extra codes. I do not know if it's the barrister here. Barrister, thank you so very much for joining us back. Sorry for a little break here now. Yeah, so Barrister, we were speaking to the issue of the COP30. You know, yet again, Nigeria not contributing anything to the degradation of our earth, and yet we are going with 432 persons to do what exactly? Speak to me, what's your say?
The last time we went there was a carnival. You understand? We went there as serious to the environment. The president chartered jet, parked people that also go down to their family members, friends, and so many persons were in that boat, aircraft, to go for this whole thing. Now, this another season they are parking people. Whereas people are defecating the expressway. On the expressway, in front of the president's also, there is serious defecation all around the place. We are not doing anything about the environment. There are killings going on. These killings that are going on is messing up the environment too. Okay? We are not doing anything about it. They can't talking about and we're saying they are killing not those that are Muslims too. So the global contribution to world environmental sanity is not part of the Nigerian agenda. Okay? Nigeria is not able to feed itself. In the same with everything. Where scarcity, no supplies, it doesn't look like our priority. And so we're not doing anything significant. Our contribution is nowhere to be found. But when we are going to this, where the number of Nigerians going are more than the number of the entire conference itself. So I don't know exactly what we're going there to do. Whether we're going to go there to start our own or to, I don't know exactly what we're going to do there.
Benefit.
Very, very well said, Barrister. But let's take a look at what's happening with the Vanguard newspaper for today. We have the big story. As bank profits rebound to 2.5 trillion naira, manufacturers shun bank loans over high interest rates. Speak to me, Barrister. How big of a deal do you think this would be for our economy, good or bad? Which way do you see it?
Sorry, can you come again with the question?
Yes, I say manufacturers shun bank loans over high interest rates. And my question is, do you think this would have a significant effect on our economy, knowing that manufacturers are no longer interested in bank loans, but yet our banks are making profits? So the big question is, where are they making these profits from if they are not there to give out loans to manufacturers that end up giving them the profits? Where's the profit coming from?
Our banks are not. Our banks. I don't think our banks care about the economy. Our economy. I don't think so. Their priority is to make profits, and then that profit they are making, there is no direct policy to plunge it back into the system. You see, even when the CBN asks them to give loans at a particular interest rate, at the end of the day, they end up not giving you that rate. If you take a loan now, some will say they are giving you at 4%, but at the end of the day, when they calculate everything, you'll find out that you are taking loans in commercial bank at the very high And those percentage they fix interest rate. You cannot even as a business person, you cannot even make profit to the point where you're able to liquidate those loans. I know what really I'm talking about. I've taken loans on several occasions. The reason I stopped is because of the interest rate. The interest rate. So when entrepreneurs are telling you that they are not interested, it's because many of them, their businesses have been killed by the interest rate. So when you are not in the business, you are not able to move forward. The next thing they will do, they will move for foreclosure. Okay, when they move for foreclosure, the next thing they will confiscate your assets. By the time they go to take your properties and all that, you don't have any business. They take your collateral. You don't have any business again. So sometimes the loan are evil loans. Evil loans that is the intention of every loan is not for you to be able to pay back. It's for them to take the property that you use as collateral. So their target is therefore not helping the economy. So no entrepreneur want to lose his asset, his building, properties, or whatever to the bank just because he's not able to pay. So the best thing to do, the best way for entrepreneurs is to stay small. Stay as small as possible and grow from that small corner until you gather the financial muscle and energy to expand. But if you say you want to just expand by loan, and you are taking this loan left, right, and center, by the time the interest rate will accumulate, you will discover that even your entire business and the entire asset you have may not even be able to service the interest rate, let alone the person. So I agree with those businesses that say they don't need all those loans because it is killing. It's killing.
Barrister, well, I would say what Barrister said, it's actually, in fact, because I feel that even if you want to take loan, the interest on it is really on the high side. And Barrister he said something, he said, as an entrepreneur, you need to be fixated on that small business. You need to just stay there instead of you just venturing to taking loans and all of that. But what about if you have, maybe there's a situation whereby you have a business and you keep running that business, you know in your heart that this business, maybe in the next 2 years, this business will grow into something. And you just feel that you have like some external factors derailing that business. How do you go about it? You know, even if you don't want to take loan, because you know that once you take that loan, you have more interest to pay. I want you to just advise. Let me bring it to advice. I want you to advise entrepreneurs out there. What do you think they can do, even if they don't want to take any loan and they still want to be in that business?
Yeah, if they don't want to take loan and they still want to be in the business,
Yes, sir.
they should go for other forms of raising funds.
Okay.
Other forms of raising funds, we stay away from the because of the interest rate. And possibly, if possible, go for cooperatives.
Oh, okay.
Cooperative, family and friends, then grants. You understand?
Yeah.
Then apply for grants and the rest of that. So that way you are able to, if you get them, then you can sustain with it. Because see, there's no point taking loan when you know that you are not going to be able to pay it off. You understand? And you are not going to be able to do the right thing eventually. Okay, so you don't just jump into taking loans just for the fun of it. Sometimes we are so fixated, things are so difficult, and you think that the answer is a loan that you need. It may not necessarily be that the answer is a loan that you need. Your business must grow according to the size of your capacity. Because if you're able to pay loan, then the business will go. And then your focus and concentration will not leave the business. Your focus and concentration will not as to how you are going to protect your asset from confiscation. And when the window given to you is foreclosed, they get a court order. They get a court order to have the property disposed of. And then when they dispose it, it further weakens the business. It further weakens. Sometimes there will be no business whatsoever. So that business you took a loan to actually grow is thereby extinguished by the fact that factors funding you are not able to meet up with it. So the best thing is to get that loan away from the institution of the bank. These entrepreneurs are telling you that they are telling the bank to keep their loan. Do you think they are not taking loans? They are taking loans, they are getting grants, they are getting other sources of income. You understand? Some of them that have capital publicly can go to the capital market and sell shares and raise capital through shares. The ones that are not public companies can get forms of investments to push their business forward.
All right, Barrister, let's look into the northern part of Nigeria for a bit, and why not remains backward despite vast talent, and that's coming from the Kaduna State Governor, Sani. I do not know why this is more like a perennial problem. They all sit back, pretend like they don't know what the problem is. But what is your say on why you think the North is backward in lots of things?
Well, for me, by their own hand, destroy their environment. I mean, destroy many of the things that they have a fair share of. When you talk about leadership in Nigeria, we've had more Northerners in power than we've had Southerners, Westerners and Easterners in power. So the long years of rulership of the North is not reflected in their lifestyle and the way they live. Look at the South. South is practically built by individuals, businesses, companies. Okay, there's a remarkable difference between the South and the North in terms of industrialization. First, the North, a huge chunk of them don't want to go to school, and development starts from education, from knowledge. Okay. You see this thing we're talking about, the education in the North is worse off, okay? Because the quality of human person there, I'm not saying now they're going to school, but you can't still compare with the South, okay? So they've had opportunities, from government revenue, oil revenue, and the rest of that, oil that they don't have. They have resources, they've had opportunities, they have people in positions connected in the civil service, in the Army, Navy, Air Force, name it, they are all over the place. EFCC, Customs, they are all over the place, immigration. But at the end of the day, you find out that all the resources that they derive from all these institutions does not translate to anything industrialized or development in that area. So it calls for a lot of introspection. They should sit down and think about. They have been more in positions and they have suffered more poverty than any other place. So it's quite inexplicable, very inexplicable.
Very true. And this is a follow-up to yet another interesting story here. Negotiation rule. I led 600 bandits to surrender. And that's coming from Gumi. And we're talking about just a follow-up to what you had going on there. Lots of Northerners have refused to go to school. You could imagine 600 people that have gone to surrender on what exactly? Insurgency and banditry. And that is how despicable the situation is. But of course, we would get on to another yet interesting time on Enterprise Television. That is when we return, because Barrister will still be with us. And when we return, IBADAN Convention faction moves to expel WIKE, Fayose, and Anyanwu, others top members. That in the beat is still Enterprise. A morning, don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back.
Hello, who wrote that? Who wrote that name and say human rights activist? Who wrote that in there? Hello?
Thank you so very much for being back, and if you just joined us, this is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television from our corporate headquarters in Lagos State, Nigeria. Now let's get going with our main conversation for today. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) was thrown into fresh turmoil on Saturday as a faction loyal to acting national chairman Omar Damagum announced the expulsion of key party figures, including FCT Minister NYESOM WIKE, National Secretary Senator Samuel Anyanwu, and former Ekiti Governor Ayo Fayose, and several others. The move, carried out during the party's national convention in Ibadan, was initiated by PDP Elder Chief Bode George and supported by Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad.
Very true. However, Governors Amadu Fintiri of Adamawa and Caleb Mutwang of Plateau immediately distanced themselves from the decision, even as angry delegates pulled down posters of governors absent from the convention. Despite ongoing internal crises and conflicting court rulings, the DAMAGUM-LED faction proceeded with the convention at the Lagos Salami Stadium at Damashingba, where several governors and prominent party leaders were present.
So let's get talking. We still have Barrister Evans Sufeli. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for hanging on.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, so yes. Yeah, you wanted to say something?
No, go ahead.
All right, beautiful. So let's get talking on the just concluded convention by the PDP and the expulsion. Of course, the aide to the senior special advisor to NYESOM WIKE had said that that expulsion amounts to dated December in November. I do not know what that means, but that is more like a caricature of what they had going on in Ibadan. What's your say, actually? Nigerians had expected this for a very long time, but what's your take on this?
I think Alainka is playing the ostrich. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The persons who moved the motion, or the person who moved the motion for their expulsion and seconded and supported by the ESCOs, are persons who have authority to do so. How be it that they call this a faction of the PDP? Okay? How be they call it the faction of the PDP? Whatever it is, at the end of the day, the court will decide whether this faction have authority to do that. But the expulsion of the following members, the above, now PDP is taking action. It's important that they weed out the bad eggs, those who are embroiled with anti-party activities and pretending to be in the PP while they are actually the above spirit in the AP. Take, for example, WIKE. What is WIKE doing in PDP? He sits there to make sure he frustrates every attempt by anybody to move the party forward. The likes of IOFI, for example, what is it in PDP? It's in PDP, but almost like a spokesperson of the president, almost like a spokesperson to the PDP. Sorry, to the APC a political party. So the attitude of the following above persons have shown that they're actually working at cross purpose with the PDP. And so it is not, it is not wrong, and it's not surprising that the PDP should take such action. It is evident that these persons have shown the service, to the party, and the party is not able to go with it. So, what they're doing, working against it, they are making sure the party does not move forward, and so it is right to do so. If they believe that the ESCO cannot suspend them, then let them come and force themselves on the party, or let them go to act up the decision reverse. And by the way, many of them challenging, they are fully in PDP, PC, their actions. And the governor stayed away. Those intentions, to see signs in the war to the effect, but they are not able to reach that conclusion also. So I do not want the PDP to have the it that they were careless, they didn't guard the party, they didn't take the decision, they ought to take it earlier. But it's not a party with dialect, okay? So what they are doing now to redig it, they still have many governors as much as possible. So they trying bring the party back to life by actions. Someone that many other actions in the field that will reduce, the bad eggs among them, so that party can move forward.
Very well said. So, can a faction override national PDP rules?
What can a faction override national PDP? What do you mean by national PDP rule? Yeah. There's a part, I think they are the new PDP. Okay? There are factions, actually, we came down to 2. Okay? Yeah. So, are you talking about the now working committee?
Yes.
You're talking about national working committee. If any party, if PDP is really visible and alive, is this faction that really that this is where the true members of PDP are. Okay. The true foundational members of it, they join the rest of that. This is where they are. If you are calling it a faction league, this is where members are. Okay. The other one is the wing that is funded by it to disintegrate people. You understand? So disintegration, the parties, natural. So at the end of time, they call the ruler, which is the party under reference. Remember, there's a problem also with the conventions. They are called orders at the convention rule. Orders and counter orders. Okay. So even the people didn't know whether there is right to convention or not. Because they said the nomination form of one of the, what's his name again, from the north, that he was not allowed to pick from, therefore the convention should not hold, and all that. There's an order that says otherwise, the rest of that. So why they are back with those problems is when you organize people, you will find a lot of conflict. Every organization have, as long as there are more than one person, you will have conflict. And the only way your organization can survive is its capacity to manage the conflict and make sure that they scale out from it.
Lots of people might see this example I'm about to make here as a microcosm reference, but it is very significant. In Plateau State, for example, they had issues with the state committee and all that. And because election, what they had called a shabby election, was held, and people were, elected to chair the PDP, at the end, people who vied for election under the umbrella of the PDP, the court struck them out, and today they have been replaced by the APC candidates. Now, don't you think the fear lots of stakeholders have might repeat itself on a larger scale with the PDP?
Yeah, you are right. You are right. It happened to the APC too now. It happened to the APC too. Remember in Rivers State and in Zamfara State in the 2023 election, where the court ruled that they have because not able to manage their primaries. In their primaries, they all split to factions, and every faction conducted primaries, and every faction sent this person to the INEC. So one party will be sending names of 4 nominees to INEC, and one is what is required. So the court ruled them out completely and struck them out of the place that they cannot present any candidate as long as they are not able to manage, consolidate into one party, do their primaries and submit the names of theirs. You understand? So that is it. It's possible. It's possible. Okay. Well, you see, in politics, everything is a risk. Okay. How about if one does not speak out? And then those who wish to join loses out. How about if the court finds a different interpretation to what they have done by the argument of counsel in the case? So politics is all risk. That is why people do what they want to do. And before you know it, they will now say the judiciary should come and carry out the mess to sort it out. And that is the kind of politics we are running in Nigeria. You can imagine political parties that have no ideology in the first place. All these political parties we are talking about, the political party A, B, C, and D, and all that. What are they doing? So you think their essence is to make Nigeria great? Is that it? Even the PC itself, the reason is to make Nigeria great. I mean, just to grab power and start this building. That's exactly what's going on. So there's no any ideology here. All of them are the same. APC, PDP, everything is the same. If by the force of evidence, APC loses to PDP, you think that the PDP will now put up a structure that redeem Nigeria? So, I mean, we're just joking. This is giving us work, analysis to do. I'll be happy if analysis is going to develop.
All right, I think we lost Barrister there. I guess lost in communication. But of course, just before we get Barrister, get back to talking on that particular issue, he was speaking to the issue of that politics in Nigeria is becoming risky business, right? You do not know what you will see at the end of the day. It's more like a fluke. Just try and hope that it works well. You might come out as the 6th person in line with 2 votes, right? The court would have a way of twerking something, and you come out number one. So that's the kind of politics we do.
Just like you putting money into something, let it just flow. If it comes out well, it comes out well.
Yeah, but Barrister was speaking to ideology too. All of these things you see, one party and another party, APC, PDP, Labour, they are all the same. No ideology, really.
But no, the thing is, in as much as we have different parties, right, I feel that we know that politics is a game, right? And even if we have APC, we have PDP, and we have ADC, well, I feel that there are some things that the PDP, they're actually doing, or there are some things that they have that even the APC don't have. And I noticed that even Nigerians, I think we have more faith in the in the PDP, no, not PDP, rather LP, that's Labour Party. Yes, and I also feel that since we've been, when we wanted to vote in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023, we were all we had this act of, okay, let's give him a try and let's see if things really will work out well. Even when we put all our faith and hope on late Buhari's administration as of then, so we gave President Tinubu that opportunity. But then when we now notice that, should I say we, or let me just myself, when I noticed, okay, I'm in Nigerian, right? Let me just generalize it, permit me. So when we noticed that, okay, APC has really failed us, we had to put our hope and our trust in LP, and we just look forward to, to the next election coming up in 2027. And I know that some Nigerians are really still putting that faith and that hope alive that we know, but LP, Labour Party, I'm still for Labour Party, and the other person, I'm still for APC. But we just hope we have, do you think we can have fair and credible elections?
Well,
given the past elections that have happened.
Well, free, fair, and credible election is possible if we are intentional about it. Good enough. Now we do not have ballot snatching. Barrister, are you back?
I'm back.
All right, thank you. So you were speaking on something just before we had that little cut in communication.
Yes, I was saying that the wranglings, all the wranglings within the political parties and all that, it's not targeted at even developing Nigeria in the first place. So it gives us a worry that we keep talking about things that are not even, they are just giving us work to do, analysis to make that does not translate to anything worthy. Okay, that's exactly what I was saying.
All right, but I'd love you to speak to me on this. Do you think that Nigeria should start maybe practicing person politics, that is individual politics, than party politics, since you rightly said that we do not have ideology with some of the parties that we have? Do you think we should maybe navigate to playing the one-on-one politics? Vote for me because it is me. Yes, independent candidacy. Yeah. Vote for me because it's me, not because I am under one political party. Yeah.
Well, independent candidacy would have worked to, except that if you throw it to independent candidacy, the number of persons that will come out maybe about half of the country. I know Nigeria. Maybe half of the population now will not say they want to contest to be president. Because something like independent candidacy, I think, is what is pulling P2B down backward, because the Nigerian constitution says before you can contest, you must be in a political party, and that political party must sponsor you. Okay. Now, by the passage of time and maybe by providence, we've come across one candidate, P2B, who we feel, or who many feel, will be able to redeem this whole country. But he cannot come out as an independent candidate. You understand? He has to go into LP with the kind of leadership in the Labour Party. The Labour Party have the worst leadership in the world. With all the opportunity it had, PDP having messed up, APC messing up. Now, instead of the LP to ground in itself and give us credibility so that it can sponsor P2B for this next election, the LP became embroiled with its own crisis. A crisis that was even bigger than the crisis in APC and PDP put together. That is how senseless people operate. When you have two major parties messing up, people have given up on the two parties. You are supposed to catch into that and make a difference. But no, your own problem is even bigger than the one in the two political parties put together. So at the end of the day, where are you going into? So I agree with you that independent candidacy would have made a difference. Independent candidacy would have made a difference. But it should come with certain level of qualification. Maybe they should say you must have been a governor before. Okay. Or you must have been a lawmaker before. They must put conditions. If you don't put conditions, half of the population will come out and they want to be president. You understand? So let it be that, let some conditions be attached to it.
All right, Barrister. Yes. Yes. Just before you conclude on that, I wanted to add to this so that you can round up on everything. We are 65 years today as a country, and we've had the 4 republics now. And the problem that you see with the APC and PDP has been there even with the first republic. So do you think we are still in that teething period as a country? If yes, how long more do we need to get it right, if it's even possible for us to get it right?
At 65 years, you cannot be talking about teething period at 65 years. It's long enough. I don't think we need more time to become what we should be. I just think we need to correct whatever we're about to correct now. immediately. Because it's not about, you see, 65 years is a long time. You can say, okay, in this 65 years, you can minus the years that the military, we had military incursion, which if you put it together, you have a number of years to deduct from 65. But whatever you have left that have been democracy, even the democracy from 1999 to date, is a whole lot. Okay, it's a whole lot. It's enough. It's enough for us to push forward. But the kind of leaders we have has been the problem. The kind of leaders and the attitude of the average Nigerian. The attitude of the average Nigerian is very harsh, selfish, unwelcoming. Okay. People have little money. If you see their character, even people that have nothing, if you see their behavior and the rest of that. So these things impact on politics. There's no love in the country. There's no love. There's no genuine empathy in the country. So when you don't have that, no matter what you do, it will be rubbished by the component and attitude of the leaders of the country. When you don't have empathy, you have nothing. Because that is what it takes to really think about the next person. If what you have is selfishness, unfettered selfishness, you don't care about the other person, how he's feeling. That's why the local government chairman, for example, can carry all the money and embezzle it, and will come and say he's sorry. That is why a governor will have his pay, his security votes, the resources of the state, and he will still want to take that to belong to local government and add to all he has. That's business. That is why a state House of Assembly member will take constituency allowance and put in his bank account and go and spend it. At the center, Senate, the House of Representatives, that is why they will take constituency allowance, take constituency project, take all the resources, go take the money and go and put it in a bank abroad, or buy houses all over the world and lock those houses up. Okay? That's what they don't need. Why? The citizens who are the direct beneficiaries of these funds are dying in their droves by insecurity, are dying by car accident because of bad road, are dying in the hospital because of no public health care, and all whatnot. So, it is not more than what I have said. The word looks so simple, love. There's no love. It looks so simple, but that's the deepest, that's the real problem. If you have leaders that can think about the people, think about that they are representing society, they are representing a constituency, they are representing some person. If they think about it enough and look at the lifestyle of those people they are representing, vis-a-vis the resources that are supposed to be made available to them, then you will see changes if there's empathy. Unfortunately, empathy is not what is acquired with money. It is tied to your upbringing. It is tied to your moral standing. It is tied to your exposure to grace. And not many of these leaders have any of these qualities. So what you have left is just people who don't care about anybody, don't care about anything. So it's not more than that. In countries that are working, it is because there's empathy, there's responsibility. These leaders know their responsibility. They have vision. They are elected for a purpose. And when they get in there, they focus on the purpose. What is the essence of leadership if you don't have public health care? How many villages do you have hospitals in Nigeria? How many local governments? The health center in my local government, the general hospital in my local government. If a woman wants to deliver, We want to give birth to a child, the child that is coming from God. When you arrive at the hospital, they will ask you to go and buy candles. It's candles that you will use in that hospital in Kwale to give birth to children that are coming into this world for the first time. They've never been here before. And you don't have empathy for them, that at least they should come into brightness. It's candle that you will light for the woman to use to give birth. You see why God will not forgive some people? Because it takes record. It takes a record of what is going on.
Yeah.
So when you are born with candle, tell me how far you can go as a child that is born with candle. How far can that child go? And if that is not enough, the same child, when he grows up, will be enrolled in a primary school where we'll be sitting on the floor to learn. From there, he will become whatsoever it is. The child's life can be damaged on the process. So that's the kind of leaders that will take Nigeria out of where Nigeria is. You can't do that. You can't. The child cannot go far because from beginning, what is going into it's already dysfunctionality. So it's really, really disturbing when you find things like that. And then you want to now endorse those leaders. They are the ones that win elections. They are the ones that win every second elections and repeatedly. They are not able to do what the basic resources they are supposed to provide for their constituency, they cannot provide it. So where are you going to start from?
Actually, very so sad.
Very
and
sad.
And this brings my mind, just before we had to, come on set, I read where Senate President Godswill Akpabio said he feels like crying anytime he hears that people are killed in Plateau. And one would wonder, all the while people are killed in Benue and Plateau, he never for once
yes,
asked himself, can I even go visit to see how these people are faring? But just because the United States Congress are about to start probing on the genocide, he's now saying that he feels like crying.
We'll have many of them.
Anytime he feels people are being killed.
Way.
Very so sad, but that's the situation we have. We hope for better days in Nigeria. Thank you so very much, Barrister.